This is today's AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen full show results video, which takes place in Nashville's Bridgestone Arena, and the show started with a match between Orange Cassidy vs Wheeler Yuta for the AEW International Championship, and the result of this match was Orange Cassidy defeated Wheeler Yuta by pinfall with a rana pin, retaining the AEW International Championship. Post-match, Blackpool Combat Club hit the ring and beat Orange Cassidy down at length, and Best Friends make the save. Then Lucha Brothers and Eddie Kingston join the fray and clear the ring. Eddie Kingston challenges Blackpool and whoever they can find to a match at Wembley in Stadium Stampede. Jim Ross has a sit-down interview with Kenny Omega, and he talks about how Don Callis was always there when he was a kid and he had a weird childhood with no friends and protein and vitamins. Don's guidance made him the best athlete he can be, and he tries to remember that version of Uncle Don. Omega says you can choose your friends but not your family, and he tried to justify what Callis had done, but now he just wants to move on. He talks about he and Konosuke Takeshita go way back, and he saw a lot of himself in that kid, and he has the power to giveth and to take away, and he's gonna take Takeshita away and embarrass Don Callis. Callis rolls up, and as soon as Kenny gets to his feet, Switchblade Jay White and Rock Hard Juice Robinson attack and beat him down, and Takeshita joins the fray, and Callis taunts Omega. We get a promo from Hangman Adam Page at the hospital, and he says if you do a beatdown it's gotta be good, somebody has to yell Roadhouse and you have to finish it, and Kenny isn't finished and he's not friendless, because in London Omega will have the Hangman and Kota Ibushi with him as a broken team to face Juice, Jay, and Konosuke. At Wembley, they finish it. Then we saw Don Callis and Jericho in the ring, and business is business, and he was recently betrayed by Kenny Omega, and he saw what the Jericho Appreciation Society did last week, and he feels for Chris Jericho. Jericho says what happened last week broke his heart and made him realize a few things, like maybe he should re-evaluate who he is as a person and change some of his ways, and Chris Jericho doesn't join factions, he creates them. After what happened last week, his answer to joining the Callis family is obvious, it's a yes, and he'll tell you why. When the JAS walked out on him, it made him realize he needed to get back to his roots, be more selfish, and align with a man just as low as he is. They hug, and then Chris revealed a painting, and it's Don holding Jericho's severed head, and Jericho calls him a scumbag lowlife and demands he be honest with him, and Don admits that he's right. He didn't think in a million years he'd say yes, but not because it wasn't a great opportunity, he thought Jericho would say no because of his massive ego. Chris says this is why he's lost everything, his family, his friends, Kenny Omega, he's messed up every relationship he's ever had because he's a lowlife worm piece of trash asshole. Don slaps him across the face. Jericho backs him into the corner and chokes him, cutting Takeshita off with a boot when he hits the ring with a steel chair, and then Will Ospreay takes Chris Jericho out with a hidden blade. Chris bleeding from the forehead, and Don blasts him over head with the painting, and then Sammy Guevara makes the save. The next match happened between Darby Allin and Nick Wayne vs Gates of Agony, and the result of this match was Darby Allin and Nick Wayne won the match by pinfall with a coffin drop from Allin on Bishop Cown. Then Sting appears on the Tron to talk to Shane Strickland, and he says he's directing movies, and he tells AR Fox he's gonna need eyes on the back of his head because they have a coffin match in 9 days at Wembley in front of 80,000 people, and his red blood cells are already moving, and he grabs his leading man Prince Nana to tell him about it, and Prince says it's actually 11 days away, and Sting says the only thing left to say is it's showtime. Back from the commercial, Adam Cole and Maxwell Jacob Friedman make their entrance, and Adam takes over to talk All In up and says they're gonna win the ROH tag titles on the pre-show. Max says that's a great story, but he is better, and he talks about how on his first day of training he was asked to write down 2 dream opponents, and he picked Cody Rhodes and Adam Cole, and he talks about putting 90,000 miles on a new truck and about hearing about the original All In and his journey to AEW. He says if Cole thinks he's gonna lay down for him in Wembley, he's out of his damn mind. He loves Adam like a brother, but a win in Wembley will make him legendary, and he will win, because no one is on the level of the devil. Aussie Open rush the ring, Tio beat them down, and Cole and Friedman turn the tide on them and beat them down, and Kyle Fletcher is down and out, but Dunkzilla pulls him out of the ring and saves him from it, and Cole laying in wait for a super kick, but he loses his nerve when Max turns around and comes back in for a hug. Chris Jericho is interviewed backstage as a trainer who tends to his head wound, and he calls Will Ospreay out and says he didn't need to hook up with Don Callis to get a match because they were supposed to fight in the Tokyo Dome back in 2021, so now a pandemic can't save him from fighting Chris Jericho on his home turf of Wembley. He's gonna drink Will's blood in the middle of the arena, and he knows Ospreay has mental problems, but he's gonna beat him down and embarrass him in his home, and he's opened hell, and now the Ocho is coming for him. Then we saw a Texas Chainsaw Massacre Deathmatch between Jeff Hardy vs Jeff Jarrett, and the result of this match was Jeff Jarrett defeated Jeff Hardy by pinfall, earning some kind of Leatherface title belt in the process. Then we saw a match between Dr. Britt Baker vs The Bunny to qualify for the AEW Women's World Championship match at All In, and the result of this match was Britt Baker won the match by pinfall with a stomp to the head, qualifying for the 4-way Women's World Championship match at All In. The Acclaimed make their entrance for a squash match against some bald and beardy local talent, and the lights go down when they get in the ring, and when they come up, their opponents have disappeared and the House of Black are stalking them. The Acclaimed turn around and gets run over by Brody King and Buddy Matthews, and the beating continues while Malachi Black sits down in the corner. Max Caster is bleeding when Matthews stomps his head in, and they have Billy Gunn's boots and Black takes them, holding them as he paces around the ring. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Ass Boys vs Young Bucks, and the result of this match was Young Bucks defeated Ass Boys by pinfall with a corner pin from Matt Jackson on Austin Gunn with a little help from Nick to hold him down. Post-match, Switchblade Jay White and Rock Hard Juice Robinson run down to beat the Young Bucks down, and then FTR make the save. They clear the heels off and want to hit Shatter Machine on the Bucks to make a statement, but the Bucks turn around ready and they settle for a face-off, and the show goes off the air.